Sioux Falls, and welcome to Planning Preview for the month of September. I'm Jason Bieber with the Planning and Development Services Office, and joining me as always is Kurt Johnson, our Planning Commission Chair.
Thank you, Jason. Great to be here with you. Looks like we got quite a lineup of items coming into the to the meeting for this month. There is a particular one I'd like to start with here. This always is exciting when we're taking bare land and kind of heading into new and improved development here. This first one, Ag 2 and RA2 apartment residential complex. Why don't you walk us through this one?
Yeah, so this is kind of a request on that right off of 85th Street in Tallgrass area. As we know, the city's upgraded that street, and hopefully future projections, we will get that kind of interchange onto 29 at 85th Street. So this kind of whole area will start to get pretty busy, quite a lot of traffic, and really quite a lot of retail and apartment uses. So This is an existing agricultural piece that the owner now is ready to, hey, let's rezone this and try and sell it and try and find a developer to develop some apartments to kind of get ready for what we're projecting for the future there.
Very exciting. Yeah, we can definitely, there's no shortage in demand when it comes to residential, so that's excellent. Our next item, gosh, I don't see these come over too often, so I'm just going to let you roll with this one. I don't want to do it any injustice by the misrepresenting it here. So
this is, yeah, you're right. We don't see too many of these, but this is kind of a really exciting project that we're working on. This is up on Madison and Veterans Parkway in the East Prairie edition. Kelly Nielsen has been working with our office not only on this rezoning to go from some townhomes, but go to some twin homes in what we call a residential cluster plan unit development. And what that really means is kind of some smaller lots and hopefully get some first time kind of home buyer house prices up in this development. One of the things that is exciting about this is going to be our first residential TIF project we're going to be working on. So the city has put together kind of a residential single family TIF program to try and encourage some additional residential development, but try and make them a little bit more affordable for first-time home buyers. So this is kind of our first project up there, so we're pretty excited. They're kind of slab on grade, single stall, about 1,000 square foot homes that we're going to be doing up here. And really what's going to be great about them is they're going to be around, kind of the $250,000 range for a brand new house up in this area.
That'll be an interesting development to see come together, so very excited about that.
Yeah, it's kind of the guinea pig, so hopefully we've got our fingers crossed. It's something that maybe could spur some other developers to try it. So.
Excellent. Our next one, this looks like a little more of a traditional item, kind of in the central core of the city. We don't see a whole lot of changes there, but why don't you talk about this one? Yeah,
these are kind of those similar ones that we've dealt with a little bit, where we have some smaller lots that are already within our core area. We developed that single family traditional district, and really it's just to allow a single family home on a lot that maybe isn't quite as big as some of our suburban lots.
Sure. No, very good. Switching gears now, it looks like we're advancing nightlife, if you will, some conditional use permit for on sale. Why don't you tell us about this guy?
Yeah, the first one here is just out there on East 10th Street, just south on Bonson Avenue, just an existing, I believe it was an old church, and they're looking to kind of reuse it as a different use than the church was there.
Sure, and it looks like we have another similar request for conditional use for on sale. Why don't you walk us through this item?
Yeah, so this is kind of out in that Will's Edge development, pretty much as far east as the city goes there, right off of 6 Mile. New strip mall going to the north side of Arrowhead Parkway, and they're looking to do a bar/restaurant up there.
Excellent. Look forward to that. Any kind of bar restaurant out on the east side is definitely welcome from what I hear. So another one next is conditional use on sale kind of in the core of the city here.
Yep. So this is one of those, I don't know if you knew this, and then the residents at home that maybe are watching, but this is part of those 4 new alcohol licenses that the city was allowed to do a lottery for based on our population. So this applicant was one of the ones that got one of those licenses and then needed to put it at a certain address right now, and then once they get it, then they'll transfer it to actually an address that'll be more of an alcohol use. So.
Oh, very good. So more to come on that one, just more of a placeholder.
Placeholder right now, yep.
Excellent. Another on sale. This one is kind of unique. Why don't you tell us about this one?
Yeah, so this is kind of a playoff of Remedy's brewing house out there on West Avenue, kind of south of the Denny Sanford Premier Center. So it's kind of if anybody's been out there, it's a real large warehouse type building, and so they do most of their brewing out there. But what they're looking to do now is actually kind of have a dive bar within that existing brewery out there. So hopefully that'll help us, as we kind of dub the entertainment district out there, and we can get some more entertainment style uses. Maybe we can draw some more people out in this type of area. So I think it's a good use of that building, and hopefully get some people kind of to come out here. So.
Oh, very good. And just for the folks at home, dive bar was their term, not ours.
That's right.
Next item, alternative site plan. These two are also rarer than other types.
Yep.
And why don't you walk us through this item?
Yep. So this is actually close to where we just talked about the alcoholic beverage out there on the east side of Will's Edge. So this one really is to allow the apartment complex to be closer to the street on the south side, kind of line up with the existing offices and retail. And then they have to provide that, if they get closer to the street, they have to provide that space on the back side, which if you've been out in this area, this will back up to that drainage area where there'll be a city bike trail going back there. So it's really, hey, let's push the apartment closer to the road and provide more open space for the residents in behind it. So it's kind of one of those new options, like you said, we don't see very often, but it's a way to allow those buildings to come closer and then provide more usable space that residents actually want to utilize. So.
That's a unique concept. I look forward to seeing that one come to fruition. So, well, very good. Well, that kind of is the list that we had coming into the meeting for this month. Any other comments? Anything else you would like to add that we could look forward to?
No, we just like I said, a heads up on this also. Like I said, we'll have the TIF that'll be coming forward, and then I know we talked about some ordinance amendments on this show probably 2 months ago. Those will also be on the agenda. Our planning for Shape Places, some of the ordinance amendments. So we'll have a couple other things that we typically don't see on the agenda that aren't just regular cases, more staff type things. So.
Well, very good. Look forward to that.
Yeah, great. It should be a good meeting. So, and stay tuned, Sioux Falls. After the break, we'll be back with Madeline Schwabach, who was our intern this year for the planning department. I'm just going to have a conversation with her to ask her some questions on what she learned and what she thinks about Sioux Falls. So stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Brent, and I'm a housing specialist with the City of Sioux Falls, and I'm here with Kelly, who is the property maintenance manager for code enforcement here in Sioux Falls. Kelly, we're looking at this window in the background here, and this family has decided to put in an egress window and finish a bedroom down here. Do they really need this type of a window?
Yes, absolutely. If you're going to have a habitable sleeping space in the basement, you need to have an egress window. It's got to be a 5 square foot opening. And that's for your safety in case of a fire or emergency. You need to get out, you can get out, or firemen or rescue personnel can get in to get you.
I see they have a metal window well and then a cover on that. Should they have a cover that's fastened down on an egress window?
No, the cover cannot be fastened down. You can have the cover, just not fastened down, something that's easily openable. And if it's more than 4 feet tall, it needs to have a ladder so somebody can climb out.
Right. If they didn't want metal, could they have a wood one or made out of rocks?
Yep, you could have a wood or a block egress window. I mean, the well is just to keep the dirt away and give you the area to get out of the window.
Thank you, Kelly. Well, if you're planning on having habitable space down in your basement and to keep your family safe, be sure to install a new egress window.
If you'd like to see if one of our city programs can help you out, call 367-8180 or check us out online at siouxfalls.org.
Welcome back from the break, Sioux Falls. This is Planning Preview for the month of September. Joining me for our special topic today, we're excited to have Maddie Schwabach with us. She was our planning intern for the Planning and Development Services Department for the City of Sioux Falls. How are you doing, Maddie?
Good. Really happy to be here.
So we wanted to have you on this program, especially myself, to kind of maybe talk to you a little bit, because I know this is your last week of internship with the city after roughly 12 weeks of hanging out with probably the coolest people you've ever met in your entire life. So I just wanted to talk to you a little bit and maybe ask some questions and have you kind of give the audience at home understanding what you got to actually work on and just everything that you kind of thought was interesting about the city and things that you didn't know. So.
Has it actually been 12 weeks?
It's probably been pretty close to 12 weeks, May to August. Yeah, see, time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But I'm going to start you off with an easy question, okay? First, tell us what school you go to, even though nobody's going to want to hear what school you go to because it's USD, but that's
Go
okay.
Coyotes!
Tell us what school you go to, what your majors are down there, and why did you pursue an internship with the City of Sioux Falls?
I will be a senior at USD this coming fall. I'm studying economics and sustainability. And when I was looking for internships, one of my professors who taught a different intern a while ago, a long time ago, he had told me that that student had an amazing experience with the city. So he gave me the application and said, you need to get into contact with the city. And so we sat down and we discussed which department would kind of best fit my interests and my major. And we decided on planning services. And so I sent in my application
And here you are,
Here I
12
am.
weeks later, or 12 weeks later, right? So I know one of the big projects that you worked on was kind of the downtown stuff, but we're gonna go through that in a little bit because I think that's probably gonna take most of our time talking about that. But maybe give me an idea of some of the little things that you were able to work on, some of the things that maybe you helped, day-to-day stuff that you definitely helped my team with and really our whole department.
In the beginning, I did a lot of sitting in on meetings, kind of getting the gist of what city government is like. And I started the opportunity to be able to go out on inspections with the zoning specialists. That was really fun. It was nice to get out of the office and go drive around. It helped me learn a lot about city ordinance. I hadn't really dealt with anything like that before. So it was nice to kind of see how that's enforced and how that kind of plays out from the official standpoint.
We got to, I know, ride along with one of our building inspectors
Yes.
to look at that side. That had to have been pretty fun to see some of those buildings.
It was really fun. I know very, very little about construction work, and the building inspector that I was tagging along with was very, very good at explaining why things are kind of the way they are in the construction site. Just why a board has to be a certain angle or the whole building will fall down. It was incredible that he knew all that just off the top of his head.
Yeah, some of
Just
those.
because he's been doing it for so long.
Yeah,
you
some
know?
of those books that they use are ginormous that they have to know all that stuff. And then I know you also were able to work a little bit with some of the art stuff, some murals that you were looking at and trying to kind of catalog for us because we don't have any of that at all.
I worked directly with the Visual Arts Commission to compile a list of all of the murals I specifically worked in the downtown
area.
region. Yep. So I went out and I took pictures and kind of dug up who the artist was and what the meaning was from what I could get from looking at the mural and what I could find online.
That's great. And then I think one of the things that you got to actually do this week with your major in economics was to go around with one of our partners that we work with quite a bit, the Development Foundation with Mike Gray, and kind of see maybe some of their large parks that they have and maybe some of the economic development stuff that they actually work on as part in conjunction with the City of Sioux Falls.
Yeah, that was an incredible experience because although economics has to do with planning and development services, it was a different branch of economic study looking at land acquisition and how the city goes about buying their land and how they bring these big industrial sectors into our area. So it was very cool to go out and see their new industrial parks and the new land that they're trying to dig up and trying to level so that it's shovel ready, as they say.
So we kind of went through some of the time filler things, I would call them, that you worked on for us, some of those things that you could do between your big task. The real reason I think we really wanted an intern this year, and that was to help with us with the 2035 downtown plan, and specifically with Dustin and Adam in our office to really update that plan. I know that you were a big help with them, but maybe talk a little bit about what your role was with that and really working with those resident groups, how many different things you were juggling at one time, essentially.
I remember when you guys first you and Dustin first interviewed me, you guys were talking about the 2035 downtown plan and how I was going to be helping out with that, and I was ecstatic. I thought that was going to be so cool, and the fact that I got to be able to work closely with the project manager and give my input on certain things, it was really cool. But I was assigned with the task to facilitate and organize the 9 resident work groups we have for the 2035 downtown plan. So we cover different topics in the downtown area that people have brought up to us, including amenities and services, environment, design standards, parking, safety, transportation, and just the overall connectivity between downtown and the rest of Sioux Falls. So I was in charge of reaching out to all of these residents after they had filled out our online application. I was in charge of reaching out to them, confirming their acceptance into these resident work groups, and then I organized the meeting times and communicated with the facilitators for each meeting. And it felt like it was going to be a lot to handle, but the facilitators were so helpful, and it went pretty smoothly, if I say so myself. But
well, I think it was amazing because you said 9 work groups, plus then you kind of had whatever they're calling, like Dustin had like kind of the core group, right? The actual
the advisory committee.
Yep. Thank you. That was the ones that you're kind of compiling all 9 work groups and then giving those things to the advisory committee. And then the advisory committee really maybe gets down to the real guts or puts them together, the major themes that will go into the downtown plan. But I was on one of the work groups, the growth one, and then we had, I think, 6 or 7 or 8. So I think 8 times. I mean, you were in charge of emailing and compiling stuff for close to 100 people, right? I mean, that's pretty amazing.
Roughly, yeah.
That's a lot of people to take emails to, and a lot of personalities that you were helping deal with these. I mean, everybody has their own kind of what's important to them, what they think the downtown should be, and I really think with your help and then Dustin and Adam, those resident groups ran so well. I mean, I thought they were really well done, and I thought we got so much great feedback, especially the one that I was on just from being there for 4 meetings. But I don't think people realize how much work that is to do 9 times 4 meetings for minutes, and then communicating with 100 people in those work groups, resident work groups. So that was a huge help, and I know it took a lot of stress off Dustin and Adam just being able to do that aspect of it.
I liked that they kind of gave me a bigger project for it because I am very hands-on. I like to I like to have my schedule filled up and not have a lot of downtime when I'm at work. But it wasn't really what I expected it to be like. It was a lot of just casual, open conversation about these specific topics for the first few meetings. And then we kind of got more into depth about specific topics that we really want to see implemented into this 2035 plan. And they were all of the residents were very understanding of what we want to see as a city. And they had each of them had their opinions, but they were all very open to everybody else's wishes and needs, and it was very fulfilling to see all of this come into play for the downtown plan. Our objective for the groups were to have a list of goals and recommendations to be brought to the advisory committee. So each of the 9 groups configured a list of goals and action steps and recommendations that we want to go directly to the advisory committee. So the advisory committee will look them over, read them as a group, and approve them, look into them, and then once they have a full list of all of the goals, they'll bring it to the city council to be approved.
Which will be great to be able to update that plan, which needs to be done so much, especially with our downtown that's moving and getting bigger and maybe growing out of its existing boundaries. But I think it's going to be great that you got to work on this and then come back at like 2030 or 2032, and some of those things you worked on, some of those ideas will be implemented and be like, that was our stakeholder groups that really pushed the downtown into this way, or really push it to be more pedestrian friendly or grow this way, or any of those type of things. So I'm going to leave you with one last question, okay? Because, like I said, your time is almost up, and you've done an amazing job this year. I want you to tell me what's one thing that surprised you about working for the city. Like, what's one thing when you came here, you're like, this is going to be this, and it's totally different than what I thought it would be.
I didn't have a lot of expectations because I had never had a job like this before. 9 to 5 or 8 to 5, I guess, but it was very eye-opening. But I think the thing that surprised me the most was just how casual everybody was. It was lots of fun working in an office with all of my coworkers. Even if I didn't work directly with them, I still formed great connections with people, and it was almost just like a friend group rather than work.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things with our department is we really enjoy coming to work and working with each other and everybody's personalities, and we have fun, but we get a lot of stuff done, and I think you specifically proved that with your internship this year of how much you accomplished just with helping us with that stuff. So I know for myself, Adam and Dustin, a real big thank you to you because you helped us out a lot, and I know the whole department loved having you as an intern. So hopefully, maybe we can get you to come back at some point for a full-time job, right? We love to keep our interns back. And if it's not with us, like I said, don't ever hesitate to ask us for any help, and hopefully make some contacts, and that's the whole point. So.
Thank you for a great experience with the city of Sioux Falls.
Anytime. Don't like I said, don't be a stranger. So. And thanks for joining us for planning preview for the month of September. This meeting for September is on September 7th at 6:00 p.m. over at the Carnegie Town Hall. We will have the ability for public input on all the things you heard tonight. And also we do set aside time for public input at the end of agenda to really let citizens come and speak on anything for 5 minutes that's not on our current agenda. So thanks, Sioux Falls, and have a great day.